This is what motivates human beings to get ready. This is the tunnel that has cheese at the end. The other ones don't. Two factors drive public preparedness. First is the information they receive about getting ready, but only if it's dense. What do I mean by dense information? It must have 5 characteristics. If it has 4, it won't work. It needs 5 characteristics. It has to come from multiple sources. It has to be delivered over multiple communication channels. It has to address what preparedness actions to take. It has to explain how those actions cut losses, and it has to be consistent across messages. The second factor, slightly stronger than the first, is cues. It's information observed. That's seeing the actions other people have taken. Now, those factors drive public preparedness in 2 ways. First, it's direct. Information motivates action. Second, it's indirect, because it also, before it gets to action, bumps up knowledge, bumps up perceived effectiveness, and has people talk about it with each other, called milling. And those things also impact action taking. It looks like this. The information that different agencies put out is in the red box. That's information received. If it's dense, it goes through increasing what people know. It's really good news to a retired professor to find out that education works. And that impacts action taking. Information that people observe their friends and neighbors and relatives doing goes through altering people's perceived effectiveness of the action that's being taken. For some reason, if your friends have done something, you think it's a good idea. There are the equations that explain human behavior. If you replicated this study in 50 years, these are the equations that would predict the behavior you were studying. And these discoveries are very important because they can be used to increase preparedness, because information is pliable. If I concluded that gender made a difference, gender's not too pliable. Information is. And also because the relationships are linear. The more information you shovel in, the more preparedness you get out. Other factors just don't matter much. These are the tunnels you shouldn't go down. Some factors are statistically significantly related to readiness, others aren't, but either their effects aren't real and go away when other things are controlled for in that spaghetti and meatballs diagram I had up on a slide a minute ago, or their effects are so little in the world of predicting, you can predict such a slight amount from them, they really should just be ignored. Here are some examples of what fell out. Now keep in mind, this fell out for New Yorkers, it fell out for people in Los Angeles, it fell out for African Americans, it fell out for the nation as a whole. Perceived risk, it fell out of all predictive models. Increased probabilities don't increase public preparedness action taking. Fear doesn't sell. Do you get that? Now watch yourself in 3 months selling fear and trying to decide whether you should say 10% or 1 in 10. That would be going down a tunnel without cheese. Demographics, very little predictive value. They don't really predict public motivation. They can, however, impact action-taking affordability and selecting good pathways to communicate information to a diverse public, but they don't impact motivating. Here's the evidence-based toolkit for growing public preparedness in 10 steps based on these findings. The toolkit's based on a general principle. Information is the key factor that motivates the public to prepare. It works everywhere for everyone in the United States. Mainstream Americans and minorities, across the country and in different cities. Rich fields of information. That means information received and information seen yields public preparedness action taking. Here are the 10 steps. Step 1, use evidence-based approaches. All public education information campaigns are not equal. More could be accomplished if we redesigned and distribute public readiness information that uses research-based evidence about how to make those campaigns effective. Now, what I really want to say is stop making things up. Because your cousin Nunzio gave you a good idea over the fender of the Ford at the last family picnic. That's not what this should rest on. Step 2, stop doing things that don't work. Don't try to motivate the public with probabilities or fear. People do need to be aware of unknown hazards. And increased probabilities may be useful for many other things and audiences, but increasing perceived risk does not motivate or predict public preparedness action taking. So if I were asked, and so far I haven't been, but that doesn't stop me from throwing answers out, would I design a TV spot to motivate public preparedness of some sort by showing flood waters? To motivate people to take flood preparedness actions? No, that turns them off. You're shooting a hole in your foot. Fear doesn't sell. Step 3, use multiple information sources. Provide information from as many different sources as possible, regardless of who you are. You alone can't provide very effective public information if the goal is to motivate the public to prepare. You need partners. The more partners you have, the more sources. The more sources, the more the public does. You gotta get out of your office, you gotta network. Get it? It's not comfortable in that tunnel, is it? Step 4, brand the message. It's about them, not you. Now, let me say that slowly. It's about them, not you. Brand the message, not the messenger. So go and search out information that's supposed to motivate Americans to get ready for the flood hazard. And what are you going to find? Well, you'll find well-intentioned organizations that have branded themselves. Here's FEMA's information. Here's this state's information. Here's this city's information. Here are these NGOs' information. It's about them, not the public. That's not how you motivate public behavior. Convince groups, including your own, to stop providing unique messages. Work with other information providers so that everyone tells the message the same thing, because branded readiness messages work best. Use multiple information channels. Distribute the same information over diverse channels. Why? Because human beings have thick skulls, and if you want to penetrate it,